The working class better wake the up. It is about to get wild.
I ain't gonna give in now. I just gotta live this now. I'm gonna be man, I'ma kill this stuff real quick. I'ma go take it to town, cause I gotta be that king in their beam, I'm not getting mad when I'm back with the whip. Cause I am just up on the journey. Know that I'm just going insane.
Warriors, rise. Grand rising warriors. The working class better wake up. I've been sharing this information about 3 years. This is not fear. These are facts, figures, numbers, logic. The great thing about it is we're sharing the information that's happening within our current world here in America and now globally. We're going through a global crisis like we've never gone through before. We went through a global pandemic together, locked arm in arm, come collapsing down. And now we're about to go through one of the biggest stock market collapses, biggest financial collapse. Everybody's leveraged, banks, central banks, everybody is leveraged. There is no money in the system. And the people who have been working so hard their whole lives for their pensions, 401ks, could be in massive peril right now. Now, this is not fear because the greatest opportunities in history are during the greatest financial collapses in history. But the fact is, most people won't listen. Now, again, I'm going to start out by saying this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. You should never make a decision based on what I'm saying ever. I'm just sharing the 8 to 9 hours a day of research that I do. I share facts, figures, numbers, logic based on the information that's being presented by the media. And I try to look at it from a somewhat unbiased position. I'm taking the media information, I'm diving a little bit deeper, and I'm showing you what's actually happening. You're seeing the service of the 6 conglomerates that are owned by the wealthiest people in the world that present the information to you. And all I'm doing here on YouTube is presenting a different side of the coin. That's it. Taking action is your decision. Okay. But if you want to dive into one of the best communities in the world, I'm telling you, we're taking this private next year once again. I started this academy private back in 2020. We did an interview process to get into our academy. It was much more effective. We opened it up to everybody, but we're looking for the one warrior out of 100. Just to be transparent, there's one warrior out of 100. We are a community of like-minded individuals, positivity. We're not going against anybody. We are about rising up into that higher consciousness, getting our shit together, our revolutionary 120-day challenge, subconscious mind programming, crypto education, not financial advice, and 7 calls per week to include my generational wealth building call, connections to my team as well. So if you go to www.3twarrioracademy.com or click the link down below and check out our revolutionary website, you can see all the stuff we have here at the Warrior Academy. A lot of people have been asking about it, okay? So get in before we go private. This is your opportunity to get grandfathered in. All right, so let's dive right into it. So risk of global recession in 2023, rise amid stimulus rates and hikes, okay? So let's take a look back. 2020, we all get locked down. So I'm going to continue to repeat the same things because this is what you hear and this is why you act the way that you do. What you repeatedly do gets ingrained in your subconscious mind. What gets ingrained in your subconscious mind becomes an unconscious activity. This is that we parrot the same stuff over and over again. We don't question things. I'm just the type of person that questions everything. And that's why a lot of people don't enjoy being around me because I question everything. If you come to me for a business opportunity, I'm going to question everything. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions because I want to know what the risk is. Why are you doing it? What is your 5 to 10 year plan? And I'm going to question in, out, up. My brain does things backwards. Okay. They tell you everything that's going on. This is nothing new under the sun, but we're all stuck in the Coliseum. So we get shut down in 2020. Global lockdown, right? Everybody gets stuck on their computers. They test a stimulus type check. So with the massive amount of printing, trillions of dollars printed into the system, okay, the 4 richest tech companies became much wealthier. Think about that, okay? The 4 richest billionaires became much wealthier. Money was really cheap, and there was tons of stimulus going in the system. And money's been cheap since the 1980s after the 81, 82 recession, right? So wealthy people who understand how to use credit to buy assets have just been getting wealthier and wealthier and wealthier and wealthier. The working poor don't understand this. The working poor are just exchanging. They put their paycheck in, and then the bank turns around and lends out a credit card to some single mom that's trying to survive, right? It's just this vicious cycle. But the working class is about to get smashed right now. Jerome Powell said he's worried about the middle class getting wiped out, leveraged towards technology. It's here, okay? Rise of global recession in 2023 amid stimulus and rate hikes. Washington, September 15th. So I'm going to pay attention. This is in September 15th, 2022, as central banks across the world simultaneously hiked interest rate. That's key. That's key. They simultaneously hiked interest rates in response to inflation. The world may be edging toward the global recession in 2023, and a string of financial crises is emerging in the markets and developing economies that would do them lasting harm, according to comprehensive new study of World Bank. This is the World Bank. So here's the understanding. Let's take all this big words out of it. They're rising interest rates. And when they raise interest rates, they're trying to cool inflation. When they try to cool inflation, that hurts the working class. Companies, I'm the CEO of a company, I'm an equity owner in multiple companies. We get more effective. We don't let people go, but we're feeling the crunch. Inflation affects every single business owner, okay? It's more expensive to do everything. So you can't raise your prices because interest rates are going up and people can't afford anything. So you can't raise your prices. So you have to cool inflation. You have to keep your prices low as they raise interest rates. Who makes more money when they raise interest rates? The banks. The banks make more money, okay? Not you, the banks. You lose your job, okay? So they're starting to call for a global recession worldwide. This now was on October 4th. That was on September 15th. This is October 4th. We must change course, the UN warns, that the world is on the brink of recession. Monetary and fiscal policy in advanced economies, including continued interest in rate hikes, you're just going to keep hearing about rate hikes, could push the world towards a global recession, stagnation, the UN conference, trade development said on Monday. So this was a meeting on Monday where they talked about, so the bank, the World Bank talks about a global recession. The UN in the meeting on their Monday said we're heading into a global recession. This just came out on Friday. The 7 of the world's top economic minds think a global recession is coming. Some say it's already here, okay? Now, these are just the talking heads. They know it's coming. So here's what they've been doing. Let me show you what they've been doing. Let me show you the part that I'm really worried about with the middle class, okay? U.S. So now this is U.S. Now I'm going to show you what's happening in the U.K. So this is in the U.S. Public pensions face worst funding decline since Great Recession. This was in July 2022. In July, this was months ago before they started announcing the global recession. Funding ratios to drop to 77.9%, lose half of their 2021 gains. CalPERS, the biggest pension, lost 6.1% in the fiscal year. Okay.
Whether in a bull or bear market.
Okay. So it says that reflects almost $500 billion increase in the gap between assets and what's owed to retirees. This is crazy. The biggest U.S. fund, the California Public Employees Retirement System, said this week it lost 6.1%, its worst performance since 2009. Public funds lost about 10.4% on average in 2022, according to the Equitable Institute, as surging inflation and growing fears of recession hammered the bond market and drove stocks to their steepest quarterly decline since the first wave of COVID. So what do you think is going to happen when this, I believe in October, we're going to see a stock market collapse? This is your pensions, okay? But here's what they're quietly doing behind the scenes. Let me show you what's happening in the UK, though, okay? So UK, how hidden risk at pension funds almost toppled Britain's bond market, okay? Once again, a low-risk investment strategy turned out to be anything but that. Johnson immediately understood that the shock could set off a sustained wave of selling, and investors, included his clients, scrambled to meet all their calls for collateral. I want you to pay attention to this word, collateral. Everybody is so leveraged and so collateralized. There's no money. It's literally a teeter-totter, robbing Peter to pay Paul with your pensions, okay? So here's what's happening. Here's what they've been doing behind the scenes. As they told you cryptocurrency is a fraud, as your banks, JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, they've been telling you cryptocurrency is a fraud as they're allowing their wealthy clients to get into cryptocurrency for years. What about the working class? What about you guys? What about the normal everyday person? Oh, you don't have the acumen. You're not an accredited investor. You don't understand. Well, you understand you've been working your ass off, and the reason why they get their big ass paychecks is because you've been putting your money in their hard-earned money in their bank so they could lend it out and they could set up leveraged life insurance for themselves. It's time to wake up. It's time to get your shit together. It's time to start reading books like Robert Kiyosaki's books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, learn the cash flow quadrant. That's what I did. People clown me because I came off my mom's couch 3 years ago. Well, I kept making money and losing money. I was always able to make money, but I kept losing it because I was indoctrinated into this impoverished system. You can't serve two masters. I had a impoverished mindset and kept trying to go into wealth. No, I got rid of the impoverished mindset and I got a wealthy mindset. God told me I'm already rich. I'm already healthy. I'm already abundant. This is all God's money. And now I'm seeing it because I'm serving one master, God. That's it. Wealth. We'll go into that a little bit later. Robert Kiyosaki explains why he buys Bitcoin, citing pension funds and inflation. This is important. Why buy Bitcoin? Pension funds are the biggest investment business in the world. Okay, you got BlackRock. Most of the pension funds and 401ks are managed by BlackRock, some of the biggest asset managers in the world. So they are the biggest investment businesses in the world. So what are they doing? What are they doing? Your state pension funds are now gambling on cryptocurrency. This is October 3rd, 2022. If you're participating in a state, local government sponsored pension fund, then a portion of your hard-earned, listen to what I'm about to say, the portion of your hard-earned retirement savings is likely invested in crypto or cryptocurrency adjacent enterprises. According to 2022 study published by the CFA Institute, 94% of state government-sponsored pension funds are invested in one or more cryptocurrencies despite the obvious risk. The attraction to high-risk assets class is largely driven by the perception that cryptocurrencies have delivered spectacular returns over 12 years. They tell you it's a fraud, but they're risking your retirement in it. Come on, guys. It's not going anywhere. BlackRock offers Bitcoin investment to big institutional clients. The rich get access to all this stuff. New Trust seeks to track price of the biggest cryptocurrencies. This was back in August 11, 2022. So Aladdin, which is connected to Coinbase, right, is now a part of their trading service. Asset managers still seeing substantial interest from their clients, okay? Bitcoin, this was back in 2021. Morgan Stanley becomes the first big U.S. bank to offer its wealthy clients access to Bitcoin fund. Wells Fargo U.S. Bank set to offer crypto to their rich clients. That's why I created the Academy, Warriors. That's why I created the Academy. I've been sharing this information for 3 years. I worked in banking. I was part of a bank. We were manipulating stock prices, Warriors. If there's money and power, there is no empowerment. It doesn't work that way. When there's money and a fight for power, there is no empowerment. You have to become sovereign yourself. There is nobody to go against. I'm not against left. I'm not against right. I'm not against anybody. I'm getting my own shit together. There is no battle. There is no evil force. Your job is not to battle against Bill Gates and all these people. Your job is to get your shit together and do the activities and behaviors that the wealthy do on a daily basis, and you can get out of this trap. There is no invisible force stopping you from being wealthy. It's not reserved for the richest families in the world. They just learned how it worked. And it's not that money is evil. It's the use of money. It's not that technology is evil. It's the use of the technology that makes it evil. So you can argue all day. You can pick left and right. You can fight. They were created to make us fight. You are me. I am you. You are Christ. I am Christ. We are God. God is omni. God is, my son said this today on our trip. He said, God is everywhere. God is everything, Dad. I was like, we are not separate. When you see kids play at the playground, they are not separate. You decided. Somebody in your religion, somebody in this said, you're better than someone else because you're your religion. We are all one. If you're Catholic, I love you. Jehovah's Witness, I love you. I love all of you. I'm not separate from you. What makes us different is our activities and behaviors and our belief. It's not outside in, it's inside out, Warriors. So we'd love to have you part of our Warrior Academy. You're going to hear me talk about this on a daily basis because it's time. It's time to really get as many human beings as possible the information they need to have a great community around them as well, because shit's about to hit the fan. And we want to give you that community so you can have people, like-minded people to roll with. We're not against anybody. We're here to the light, love, and positivity, higher consciousness. Come as you are. Come as you are. We're not here to get you to believe anything other than yourself. Love you guys. Warriors, get your shit together. Let's go.